Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the SportsStop here on WSJU Radio, the voice of St. John's University. I am WSJU's own James Mitchell. Alongside me are my partners, Sean, Kurt, and Evan this morning. Guys, how's it going?
Pretty great, I have to say. Got a good show with Steve and I this morning, and just happy to talk about some sports.
Yeah, Kurt, what is your show about before? It's actually right before our show, right?
Yeah, it's from 9 to 10, like the plug.
You're very welcome.
It's from 9 to 10. It's comic relief for political bull, where we just kind of take, politics and news all and just kind of make satire and jokes about it.
Very nice. That's actually very interesting.
You should all tune in.
Yeah, if I was awake, probably yes. Actually, I usually am awake. I'm preparing for the show. It's a very daunting task to prepare for a radio show such as the SportsStop, which you can call in at 718-990-3SJU. That's 718-990-3758. It is, what's the date today, the 15th?
Yes, it is. September 15th.
September 15th, halfway through September.
Woo.
Halfway through the first month of school. Very nice.
Alrighty. So I think we should just dive in right into football, because even from the commissioner all the way down to how bad the Giants are, there's just so much fun stuff to talk about.
Now, hang on. Shouldn't we talk about the weather or something on the SportsStop? Shouldn't we talk about the weather? It was very hot. Now it's very cool. I'm actually, besides Evan, we're all in jeans or long pants of some sort. You have long sleeves on. It's something else out there.
Like I said earlier, it's all about the sweater. It's getting the sweater season. And your sweater getting better, but you all are.
Oh, yeah. Sweaters are very important, especially for the ladies out there. You heard me, gentlemen. Ladies love the sweaters. All right, now let's go into NFL, because, we are a sports show. I think so. At least that's what they tell me. I don't really know. I didn't decide. Yeah, so the big news of the week was Ray Rice's suspension being handed down to him. Suspended indefinitely. The Ravens cut him.
But they still balled out on the Steelers, so that was pretty.
It's true. It was the Owen Daniels show for the Ravens on Thursday night. 2 touchdowns for the tight end, backup tight end, I should say.
And I think they have Baltimore has now they actually do have a decent running attack with Pierce and Forsett, who actually Sean called Forsett was gonna have a good game. So props to Sean.
I believe he did. Very nice, Sean.
He did have a very good game. So
Sean was all over that one.
So, but being from New York, being around New York, of course, Ray Rice is from New Rochelle, which isn't that far away. You hear all these reports about people in New Rochelle. He was actually at a high school football game over there, and all of his hometown fans are like, "Oh, he's a good guy. Everybody makes mistakes. We have his back 100%." And I think that's actually giving him confidence, to appeal the suspension, because suspended indefinitely. What does that mean, really?
Yeah, very.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
so I don't know how you can appeal a suspension that you don't know how long you're out for.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's going to be... I think even if he didn't appeal it right away, he would probably go to Canada or Europe and play for it.
Canada
Probably.
said they were going to abide by the suspension and not let him play.
Really?
Yeah.
Who knew?
They came out with that right away. Once he got suspended the first time.
Well, Canada's a good people up there. They've got a good people.
Dude.
Yeah, they're
Donuts.
They're good people.
Canada.
Canadian bacon. Trailer Park Boys.
Season 8 on Netflix, by the way. I've been watching the heck out of that.
I started it last week. I just finished 1 through 7. Anyway. So, yeah, he plans on appealing the suspension. The Ravens they're already moving on. A lot of fans were wearing a Ray Rice jersey that night in Baltimore in support of Ray Rice. So, obviously he doesn't... It looks like this is a one-time thing. And now all of a sudden, all these other NFL players in particular are coming out with some sort of domestic abuse issue. Ray McDonald from the 49ers, he actually played last night, even though the mayor of San Francisco, or former mayor, something like that, he begged the 49ers to not play him. Greg Hardy with the Panthers.
He was inactive yesterday.
He was inactive yesterday.
And they still played. They only held.
They held the Lions to only 7 points.
Yeah, without one of their best.
My NFC South pick.
There you go.
But I think the NFL had a big week this week. The Ray Rice thing, the Roger Goodell,
Peterson thing.
The Adrian Peterson thing, the letting player, raising the how much marijuana you can smoke minimum. That's literally, they raised it from 15 to 35. That's literally they're we're changing the drug policy, but all they did was raise it from 15 milliliter THC milliliters per whatever to 35. So I was just you can smoke a little bit of weed in the NFL now, instead of just.
So you can smoke a little bit before the game. And you still get away with it. Is that what?
It calms the nerves.
Colorado or Denver players are pumped then.
That's right. Especially Wes Welker with this new drug agreement. He's actually eligible to play, along with Orlando Scandrick from the Dallas Cowboys.
And then Josh Gordon's going to come back in
10 games.
Yeah,
week 10 or whatever it is.
It's fair. I mean, that was his second or third offense in the NFL alone. In college, I don't know how many times.
I mean,
he got suspended at least twice at Baylor.
Probably, yes.
But I don't know. So, do you think Roger Goodell should still be the commissioner of the NFL?
It all depends because, the NFL is having a independent investigation. The thing is, Roger Goodell and the rest of the NFL claim that they didn't see the video that just came out on Monday. They didn't see it until this past week when the day after that report came out, another report from a law enforcement official has a voicemail recorded from the NFL offices saying, yes, we got that tape. It's pretty terrible. Does that her words, yes. Does that mean that Goodell saw it? Not necessarily.
No, because
it wasn't him on the phone that said, yeah, I got it.
Well, yeah, and also that call doesn't go to Roger. If you want to talk to Roger Goodell, you have to talk through 10 people. Probably,
yeah, of course.
Before you get to him.
So I mean, if she got it,
would have a direct line with something this serious though.
No, but
get there quicker. Something along the lines of we had the Ray Rice type and the tape and evidence of what he did. Okay, I'll try and get it to him eventually.
Yeah, no, but also
that's not what would happen.
But also, was the person who saw the tape go up to Roger Goodell, be oh yeah, he hit her, and not emphasize oh he launched her with his hit, he destroyed
that's if you guys are giving Roger Goodell the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
which I don't think he deserves.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I mean, you can't say that he saw it when there's no proof that he saw it, unless something gets dug up in this investigation.
I think he's had enough shady actions in his reign as commissioner. If we're talking about the Spygate thing, if you guys remember, they said they destroyed the tapes. They destroyed the Spygate tapes, so that's kind of shady that those tapes never got up.
I mean, those tapes were of an opposing team's practice.
Exactly, but still.
Why would they share those tapes with the public?
We don't know how bad the tapes were. It could have been really they could have really been we don't know what the tapes were.
We don't know, but
you also no one can be unless there's a video of him, Roger Goodell, literally watching the tape.
The NFL is one of the most powerful entities in the country.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I find it
hard to believe they couldn't get their hands on that tape if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because I said, you would think NFL would have a stricter policy, especially if the authorities are coming forward and saying we have evidence about the situation. You wouldn't have to go through more channels to get to Goodell to give the tape to him. I think there probably is a stronger policy, but did Goodell get it? That's the main question. No one knows if he did or didn't.
Very true. I just think it's one of the situations that you can't prove that he didn't see it, but then I feel there's just much evidence that says oh, he's just lying. I just feel no matter, there's not just we just don't know And I feel like Roger Goodell is definitely stubborn enough to, like, not just lie, just boldly just be like, I didn't see it. No way. Not.
I mean, if the job that I was doing that got me $50 million last year was in jeopardy, I probably would say, nope, I should keep the job because I didn't know about it either.
Yeah.
Just saying. So yeah, other domestic violence disputes going on. Adrian Peterson got arrested.
I think
in
that might have been. I think that was an overreaction.
That might have been an overreaction, but I mean, I think they do have pictures of the kid of his kid with
scrapes and stuff,
scratches on his back, on his thighs, his hindquarters, his hiney.
Can you say hiney on the air?
I mean, I hope so. I think I heard it on Barney once. I think it's all right. So there's pictures of that. He's not denying that he did it. Of course, he's saying that it was an accident, which, very well might have been. Apparently, the story is him and his son were playing a game, and I guess they got into some sort of argument about the game. And I believe his son's like 4, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Like, first of all, it's not that intense of a game. You know that right off the bat.
Right.
2, like...
Unless...
tantrums, though.
Yeah.
You know how they, like, throw tantrums?
Oh, yeah. Like, I definitely think that, like, if you hit, like... There's between, like, hitting your kid and then disciplining your child.
Yeah.
Like, like, those are two very, like... and then I think now it's, like, even if you, like, spank your child, it's, oh, that's, child abuse. And we're like, no, dude, if this was the 50s, like the time to, like, but I'm also saying, like, I'm not saying that if you hit your kid, it's, like, acceptable, but, like, that you can discipline your child. I think that's kind of, like, that gray area, so to speak, is kind of changing with, like, our generation.
Yeah, it is. It's constantly changing how to treat and discipline children nowadays. But, I mean, a tree branch shouldn't have been involved.
Oh, yeah.
He used it as a whip, a small tree branch. Come on.
Yeah. That's not okay.
So, they have proof. He knows it. He's not denying it. He was inactive yesterday. His backup actually scored the first and only touchdown the Vikings had. And actually, reports are saying that the Vikings won't cut Adrian Peterson if this gets out of hand, but they're open to trading him. And I know the Dallas Cowboys have always tickled with the idea of getting Adrian Peterson.
And AP had a phone call.
That's true.
They had a nice phone call, and everyone was saying that they were, what's the word? Tampering? Not tampering.
I would say tampering. Well, maybe not tampering, but
yeah, I can't remember what the word is, but they were doing tampering stuff with, like, AP to try and, like, convince them to come to Dallas or whatever.
Yeah.
What the hell's that word?
Words.
Well, while Evan's looking up in the dictionary what he's trying to say, let's head over to the games now, all right?
Yeah.
Yesterday was a pretty big day for games. A couple of comebacks. Some huge injuries, including RG3. We talked about him last week and Kirk Cousins last week. Well, Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter by default now.
Yeah, that situation.
I hear.
Solved itself.
I think the ESPN doctors. I saw Adam Schefter tweet this out that the ESPN doctor said that he thinks that it's a season-ending injury for RG3. Now things are going to be brought up about the FedEx Field's turf. What are your thoughts on RG3's non-contact dislocated ankle injury? By the way, did you see it?
I did.
It was gross.
Yeah, it was gross. Like I think when they interviewed him about it, he's like, yeah, when you look down at your foot and it's not going the right way, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I saw it live and I really didn't see it. I thought it was just like he tore an ACL or something like that. And then I believe it was during CBS and they were going through what happened that day, and then they paused it. It was a quick highlight thing, and it said RG3 dislocated ankle, and they paused it right as he dislocated it, and you could tell that it was out of its socket. And I was like
Red Zone blew it up and went slow motion on it, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, just honestly, you have to feel for the guy because he's, he gets, now he's getting paid millions of dollars to do like absolutely just to sit front row to all Redskin football games, which sounds pretty nice. But I just feel bad for him because like he's supposed to be, the franchise quarterback, and he's supposed to do everything.
They gave up so much for that second overall pick for RG3.
Yeah, and he just has so much potential, but potential can only go as far as your
body goes.
Yeah,
he never looked right when he came back from the ACL.
No, he didn't.
He never looked right, and sometimes that if you have one body part that's hurt,
it throws you all out of whack.
Yeah, it's going to throw you all out of whack. So hopefully this time they don't rush him back. This time he actually comes back.
Take off the year, maybe a couple games next season. You got it. He has for just the Redskins' future. They need to have him healthy. They gave up an arm and a leg for him, so now they
picks.
and
Mm-hmm.
then some. Like you have to make sure your franchise quarterback is healthy. By rushing him back last year, I mean look how they finished last year. I mean,
but I think Kirk Cousins is gonna. I think he's gonna do well.
I
think that we can't judge him on Fifth City because that was the Jaguars still.
Yeah, that's true. And if you look at all, if you look at those
touchdowns,
His first throw was a touchdown.
Granted, it is the Jaguars.
It's still
I agree.
The Jaguars.
I agree with that. But coming in off the bench, real cold, it's not an easy thing to do,
Very
I'll
true.
give you that, but let's not get all crazy over Kirk Cousins yet. He does have some weapons around him, so he shouldn't be awful.
Not Deshaun Jackson though. He got hurt yesterday.
Yeah, how long is he out for? Does anybody know?
I think they said week 2. He might play this Sunday.
Sprained AC joint or something like that.
Yeah, it's not.
I think he was listed as
not
day
like
to
a
day.
dislocated ankle or anything.
No,
like
I think he'll be back next week or the week after.
I mean, he only had Garcon. He didn't have Jordan Reed yesterday. He had Niles.
And he
Paul.
still had a good day. It's still I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still the Jaguars.
the Jaguars. Yeah.
You just have to wait till they play someone that's not the Jaguars or Raiders or Rams.
For the record, Kirk Cousins had 250 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Jacksonville Jaguars when he came in. He came in about halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, not a bad game.
I think my biggest surprise for I was gonna say Cowboys beating the Titans, but I'm gonna go Chargers beating the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Phillip Rivers looked really good against that Legion of Boom they have there. Richard Sherman got thrown to a couple times.
And Antonio
Good for
Gates
him.
3 touchdowns.
I started him in fantasy. I was so happy.
That's like the first time I've heard his name in like 2 years.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
99 yards?
96.
I mean, when he's healthy, he's one of the best tight ends in the game. There's no doubt about that. It's just that can he stay on the field?
It was him and Tony Gonzalez that brought up the idea of
like
these
former college basketball players
turn into stud tight ends for the league.
And now you have guys like Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronkowski that are just taking over that. Taking the baton from those two.
And I mean, Antonio Gates is still looking good. I mean, the thing is, he just age is catching up to him. Injuries.
Yeah, he's just getting kind of older and not as. I think for him, he was always kind of like a bigger tight end, so like he would always rely more on like his positioning, his blocking, and just like, good hands. But now, like he was always kind of like a slow tight end. But now I think that's gonna be his next step, kind of how to
trying to figure out
because now he's slower and not as strong.
Right.
It's all about his footwork and body control, really, at this point.
Yeah, he's got to learn how to muscle up against
football intelligence.
These linebackers. Couple comebacks yesterday. The Bears had a big comeback on Sunday night with the opening of new Levi Stadium in San Francisco. San Francisco scored the first touchdown, and then the Bears scored 3 touchdowns in the final quarter to win 28-20.
Brandon Marshall, that boy's good.
Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey.
Brandon Marshall wasn't even supposed to play. Exactly.
And ironically, Brandon Marshall also has his own domestic abuse problems. Or he did anyway.
Back in the day.
Yeah, but what was that with Miami or was that with Denver?
I think that was Miami.
Yeah, that was a while ago. He's
good now.
Well, now he is he went to he has that brain condition.
I think he's bipolar.
Bipolar, yeah.
The problem with everything, to go back to the Ray Rice thing, since you brought it back up, the NFL didn't react to the video. They reacted to the reaction of the video. So basically what they said was, we don't really want you to hit women and everything. We don't really believe in that. But just don't get caught.
That was very casual of you to say.
Just don't get caught on tape because and another thing is the NFL, the NBA gets looked at more as like the urban league. And
okay.
With like a bunch of bad guys in the league. But the NFL, it's always something with the NFL with like punishments and players getting arrested. It's really bad in the NFL.
Yes, definitely.
And Roger Goodell, like at a point, you gotta say you need to get your league in check. They're making millions of dollars, but the conduct of these players is terrible.
Yeah, there needs to be like a code of conduct, you know? Like it's like every Alden Smith, like the 49ers were complaining about how Alden Smith gets suspended 9 games, and I was like, why? You got arrested the last 3 consecutive off seasons, and you're surprised you got suspended for 9?
He called it a bomb threat.
Yeah,
that's borderline terrorism.
Yeah. When you only gets 9 games.
It is.
Just like, come on, like there just needs I just feel like all the players in the NFL, just someone needs to be like, you guys just need to stop being so stupid all the time, like. It's ridiculous.
I know. I don't know if it's money that changes them and makes them feel like they're invincible or anything like that, or if it's just lack of intelligence. But
probably a little bit of both, to be honest.
Probably a little bit of both. You said that the biggest surprise was the Chargers beating the Seahawks. My biggest surprise was the Browns.
Absolutely.
The Browns at home. All right.
Browns beating the Saints.
Beating the Saints.
They held
26-24.
Did they hold the Saints scoreless in the first quarter? Yeah, in the first quarter, Saints were scoreless.
Yeah,
it
they didn't
took
score.
them midway through the second quarter to score a field goal against the Browns.
Yes.
Like Drew Brees, only 237 pass yards against the Browns.
All right, now the Saints, I think we all have seen in the past that they are a totally different team when they're on the road versus when they're at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They are not as dominant when they're on the road. And, people talk about Seattle's fans. They talk about Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, their fans. Talk about Lambeau Field fans. Some of the most gruesome fans in the league are in the dog pound.
Yeah.
Are in Cleveland. So, I mean, Cleveland's not an easy place to play.
Had a good team.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Once they sniff an upset against one of the top premier teams in the league, even though the Saints are now 0-2, they have so much talent and they've got such a good coach that I'm not really worried about them right now.
Mm-hmm.
But once they sniff that, it's still considered an upset to me. They're all over the Saints. They're all over Drew Brees. And, they helped there's no doubt that they helped the Browns win 26-24 on a last-second field goal. Well, not last second,
I
but...
mean, you saw the coverage breakdown in Hoyer's last completion to, Andrew Hawkins, was it?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, he
was wide open.
To be honest, I really thought he was just going to fall down and not be able to make that catch.
I remember watching that. I was like, oh, my God,
I
no.
saw the first time when I'm like, oh, no, he's going to fall down. He's not going to be a completion.
But are you guys worried about the Saints? Like, a lot of people had them. They were like, some people had them going to the Super Bowl. A lot of people had them winning the division. They're not.
I had them going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried that much.
Not worried at all?
Not that much.
I feel like they might be this year's Falcons from last year. Like,
I mean,
but there are no
injuries. It wouldn't be absurd to think that because somebody's got to be this year's Falcons. There's always that one team that's supposed to be really good and they're not.
Yeah. I think that the Saints, it always comes down to one thing for the Saints, and that's just their defense. Because when they won the Super Bowl, they had a pretty good defense, and just every year since then, that it's always the biggest problem with their team is there's no defense.
They've lost 2 games on the road now, so hopefully, I mean, for their sake, hopefully they go home and they get things right.
But
yeah,
you only have so many home games to play. That's the problem. You got to win on the road. I think you have to beat a Cleveland team on the road. If you're not going to get home field advantage in the playoffs, I mean, you're going to a Seattle, a San Francisco, and trying to play there. It's a Carolina. You're not going to be able to go to these places and expect to win.
Well, I think they're going to get a little treat next week with AP-less Minnesota Vikings.
I mean, I don't know how long AP's out for.
Yeah. He might come back.
He could be back, but
be out for another month.
Are they at
it's
Minnesota?
either or.
No, they're at home.
They're home?
Yeah, they're home.
And they're going to stomp them.
Yeah.
If they don't,
We thought they were
they're
gonna
a
stop
serious
Cleveland.
problem.
I know, we all thought that they were going to
But
stop
if they don't
Cleveland,
stop
but
the Vikings at home,
then there's a problem.
there's a
Yeah,
then
big
then there's
problem
time to
right there.
panic. If they have to win on a last-second field goal, even if they do win, I still think
I
that's
think
a
if they
problem.
only win by a touchdown, there's a problem still. I think
Yeah,
they
no,
should
I
stop
don't think
them.
we should be too concerned yet because they've lost 2 close games.
Yeah, I'm not concerned
And it's not like
that much.
We haven't seen any signs. Like the defense could play better, but it's not like the offense is getting the job done. Mark Ingram looked really good actually this season. It's still Drew Brees, Sean Payton. So they should still get things right.
I mean, there's plenty of time in the season to figure it out. You know, it's just kind of shocking. Like the Saints are losing to the Browns.
Don't you just love the NFL season?
Yeah, seriously.
Don't you just
Hey,
love the NFL season?
Johnny Manziel got in the game.
Did he?
Just throwing that one out there.
Oh.
Did he complete a pass or anything like that?
He scrambled and it was an incomplete pass.
Hey.
Good for
But he
him.
got it in the game.
All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're probably going to talk a little bit more about the NFL games that happened yesterday. We're still missing out on the 2 local teams. I have a little bit of
Cannot wait.
I have a little bit of bragging rights. We have the Monday night game tonight, which is the Colts and the Eagles.
Let's go Eagles.
We're going to talk about baseball, and we can talk about a little bit of basketball. Not just, we have an hour left.
Real quick.
Let's get it all in.
Yeah, the really exciting FIBA basketball tournament.
Oh, the really exciting FIBA basketball tournament. All right, so don't go away. Like I said, we got a bunch lined up for the upcoming hour. You don't want to miss it here on WSJU Radio, the voice of St. John's University.
Stay with me. Don't you ever leave.
Welcome back to the SportsStop here on WSJU Radio, the voice of St. John's University. I'm James Mitchell. Alongside me are my partners, Evan McGuire, Kurt Sem, and Sean Lozia. I knew it. Okay.
I'll give it to you.
I'm so bad with names. It took me a long time to get yours. And your name is literally 2 syllables. Kurt Seb.
All right.
Couldn't get it. So yeah, we're back. By the way, I apologize to those fans who like the sound bites that we have, like the intros and things like that. We are having some sort of computer glitch. We're able to play music for the commercial breaks and things of that nature. However, our little intros will not work, but we'll get that done for next week. I promise. I better do it then.
Remember.
So we were talking about the games. Let's go over the local games. Let's start with the New York Giants.
I love
The-
watching that game.
The Arizona Cardinals came in.
It's comedy.
Carson Palmer list. That's what.
Carson Palmer
Drew
list.
Stanton led him.
Drew Stanton led him to a victory,
Those are real.
a 25-14 victory. A couple of key turnovers that is what was the Giants' demise. What else is new? Am I correct? Am I right? Am I right, folks? Am I right?
Spot on.
Oh my.
Eli
goodness.
actually had a good game though. This is the first time I can actually say that the Giants didn't lose because Eli. He had a good game. He had one bad interception. The first interception I thought was on him, but otherwise, I thought that was Eli's best game in a year.
And sadly, they only scored 14 points. How about that Ruben Randall catch, by the way? That was a very nice catch.
That game yesterday.
Honestly,
Honestly, really. But I'm gonna take away some positives from the game. The
Okay, let's
defense
hear
looked good for the good middle bulk of the game. The defense looked good. The 14 points that the Cardinals scored in the fourth quarter, it was all aided off of turnovers. So as long as they can stop doing that, even though they've had a problem the past year plus, too many turnovers. But if we can stop that, the running game looked all right. I'm gonna take some positives out that. I really don't think. I think next week against Houston's actually a good team. I think
They have a good defense,
is
yep.
I mean, that's going to be a good
tough
test.
battle.
That's going to be a good test against them.
They're in danger of starting 0-3. What?
They started 0-6
Can anybody?
last year, though.
That's
so.
true.
Just trying to be honest.
And what did they end up with?
They ended up 6-10, 7-9.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad close to the season that they had.
Right.
But I mean, as long as they don't start out 0-6, they can start. I think they could recover from 0-3.
Especially in that division,
Yeah, it's not.
which
it's not a
the only
strong
team that
division.
looks like any.
9-7 is winning the division. 9-7 or 10-6.
Well, yeah,
I think 10-6.
But that's always the NFC East.
I think
so it's
9
always like
and 7 makes it interesting for the close of the season.
I thought the coolest part of this game is when Ted Ginn was just like, "Hey, I'm faster than everyone else on this field."
It
So
was hysterical when he got blasted when he received it, stayed on his feet,
still
and
have
then
nightmares of that time that Deshaun Jackson.
the miracle in the Meadowlands too.
I have
Two.
nightmares still to
that was
this day.
it.
I just think it's
Matt
so cool that
Dodge.
there's like I would put like Percy Harvin and like Ted Ginn Jr. as those or Devin Hester as people who like when they step onto the football field, they're like, all right, if I get the ball, I'm just running just straight and just try and catch me, like just try. And then everyone's just like, no, he's way too fast. Like,
Yeah, but the Giants, like, they got to get Beckham back because Beckham's actually like really like he's supposed to be really good. That's he was the 12th pick, I think, all the time.
Yeah, was he
Top 15.
first receiver off the
It
board?
was, yeah, he might have been like the second or third off the board, but
I mean,
with the Giants,
he's
they
a
don't really
playmaker.
have anybody threatening on the outsides. Like
But-
Randall doesn't really scare anybody. Jernigan doesn't really scare anybody. Cruz is great. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league at what he does. He's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
So
He also
I mean,
needs to
if
catch
you
the
put-
ball.
If you put Cruz
He's-
on the outside and Ruben Randall on the outside, I think Beckham can go in the slot. And he can wreak havoc in the
Beckham's
slot.
like a really dynamic, like down the field type of guy, and you
Is
see that
Beckham
with the
big,
Giants,
though?
they need somebody like that.
Is Beckham big?
Yeah, he's like 6'2",
Oh, he
and
is?
he ran like a 4.40.
Okay.
So he's like, and
Let him
especially,
bend,
like,
let him bend.
on like special teams and stuff. The Giants haven't had somebody on special teams that anybody's afraid of. And I can't remember the last time they had somebody.
Yeah, those
So-
guys are special, like Josh Cribbs, Devin Hester.
Yeah, he's
type of
supposed to
people.
be one of those guys.
Josh
So
Cribbs now.
getting him back is going to be a really big addition to the team.
So
I think it will. I think it will help out a lot. But I mean, I don't think. Well, the offense is the question. They only scored 14 points yesterday, but it's really like it's all on Eli, really. And that's how I always thought of it. It's always on Eli. And then yesterday, it proved that the Giants, just as a team, aren't ready. Like, it was shocking. At home, against the Cardinals, the banged-up Andre Ellington, with Drew
Yep.
Stanton as the starting quarterback.
Carson Palmer was out. Yep.
And with the Cardinals defense isn't they lost so many people. Darnell Dockett's out for the season. They lost 3 people to retirement or another team, but the Giants can only still put up 14 points.
It's just
shocking.
like I just don't know. They're kind of like the point of the Cowboys right now for me. That like when I don't even watch the game for like that football interest. I do it because it's kind of funny. Like because you like watching the New York Giants play offense is honestly like you just know like if it's like they're flowing down. They're just like you know, but no, it's not just like a turnover. It's literally like
Eli's reactions to it.
Eli like got the snap and then like turned and the ball fell and then he like kicked it and then it like goes into the end zone and then like another Giant guy picks it up and then he fumbles and then they score. You know, like it's just like the worst possible like what?
It's
But it's
funny that
funny.
his facial reaction. Like, you can't,
For the first time, his facial reaction changed
Face.
yesterday, though. He actually smiled on the football field.
I know, he's-
the first time it changed from his normal dumb blank stare.
I mean, he always seems to have, well, whenever he's winning, he always seems to have fun out there. I've seen him smile on the
I've never
football
seen
field
him
before.
smile before
But it's just been a long time.
Oh yes.
But it's that dumbfounded stare with his mouth open. He's got the shaggy hair. He literally looks like he was just, taken off of the farm, given a uniform, said, "Hey, take off your overalls, put this on. You're throwing the pigskin."
I just think like him and Tom Coughlin are just like
Coughlin.
what's the point? Like
When is Coughlin? All right, so when is Coughlin not mad coaching a game with the Giants? Like
when they
every
win the
single
Super
time-
When
Bowl.
they win the Super Bowl.
I still think he was pissed off about it. Like every single time the camera went over to him, bright red face screaming at the ref.
Yeah, I feel like
Every
he's gonna
single
like.
time.
I feel like pretty soon he's gonna be the next one with a heart problem on the field.
Yeah,
because,
like I saw.
because like what his players do would I feel like just are like the things that drive coaches the most crazy. Like just like when you fumble and you don't even
get touched.
no one tackles you and you fumble. That's a moment where you're just like, how are you in the NFL? And what?
Like,
I mean, he
he's
is the oldest coach in the
he's
league.
the oldest coach in the league right now. I mean, and the Giants, The Giants, give fans anxiety and problems. I mean, can you imagine what a coach is going through?
I can't.
No?
No. I'm sure the Giant fans and the media, they've been wondering when he's going to retire.
I think it's after this year.
I think it is after this
'Cause
year,
I don't
especially
think-
if they don't do well.
I don't think he has a job with them if they close out the season how they did yesterday or last year.
2 Super Bowl rings.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that he's got to be
No, I
get
think-
fired and
Right.
shamed.
Actually, I think they should put him on the hot seat right now. Because every time they've done that, he's been like, all right, we got to win or I'm going to get fired.
Like
That's
I
the
said-
only thing that gets Tom Coughlin to coach his team well, if he's about to get fired.
That's
Like
true.
I said, the Giants give you about 5 moments per 4 quarters where I just want to punch my TV.
Only 5?
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna take some positive out the game because they should have won this game. They didn't, so it's bad. But they outplayed the Cardinals in that game. Just some of the stuff that happened were inexcusable, and I won't count on it to happen each time.
Okay, we have the optimistic view, which I enjoy.
After the Cruz drop, the next play
He dropped
was
it
the
again.
10th game punt return, and it was just over after
Well, after
Yeah.
Cruz dropped it 2 straight times, and then it
that.
was...
No, he dropped it that time, and then he came back on the next drive and he dropped like 3 more.
Oh, I knew it was something like that.
It was just a lot of
Stupid turnovers, dumb, just
And
mental
then
mistakes.
just
mental
Quentin Depps,
mistakes.
the fumble on the
the
kickoff.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Just-
I'm not gonna count on that
Just,
happening.
just mental mistakes that you just have to sharpen up on, and really, that's the problem though with the Giants. It's mental mistake after mental mistake.
Speaking of mental mistakes, let's go to the other New Jersey team. The
second comedy act.
New York Jets, winning 21-3 at one point against the Green Bay Packers, ended up scoring only 24 points. Now, that game, I was watching it with
Jet fans.
with my Jet-loving family, my uncle and my cousin. My uncle's very particular. Well, not particular. He's superstitious. So, and he's a screamer. He's a screamer at the television, and he hates. He hates.
When the Packers come back
pretty
from
boy-
18.
Yes, but he hates pretty boy quarterbacks, and I guess he considers Aaron Rodgers a pretty boy quarterback. But it's mainly Tom Brady, and I really want to see.
Tom Brady is the prettiest.
I really want to. I really want
He's
to go
sponsored
over.
by Uggs. Yeah, he's definitely the prettiest.
I really want to go over to their house again when the Jets play the Patriots, and just see how that goes. But the Jets were up at one point, 21-3. Going into halftime, they were up 21-16 against the Packers, and then
Jordy Nelson happened.
Jordy Nelson.
Nelson happened the whole game. Just the beginning of the game, the Jets were pressuring Aaron Rodgers, making an elite quarterback look like what Drew Stanton should have looked like against the Giants.
Yeah, I remember the first series of the game. I remember watching it, and I think Aaron Rodgers got hit or knocked down, and then I think they got a sack too on third down. But every time Aaron Rodgers was getting hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every single time.
constantly.
And that seemed to have happened in the playoffs last year against the 49ers. The 49ers defense kept hitting Rodgers in that first quarter, getting him out of his groove, and then the Packers started to, adjust to the pressure and perform well. However, they lost that, obviously, and they were able to win this one because it's the Jets. A lot of mental mistakes, but there were a lot of them. The Jets, Mo Wilkerson getting ejected from the game for throwing punches.
Why are you gonna hit it? Why are you gonna throw a punch at somebody when they have a helmet on?
Now,
Can someone explain that? Please.
Except that fight between Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan,
That was
where
crazy.
Andre Johnson just taught Cortland Finnegan a lesson.
Yeah.
That was the only fight in the NFL where I was like, all right, that was okay.
that was probably the only fight. That was a great fight.
Yeah.
That was great.
speaking of that scrum, another thing happened in that scrum where Andrew Corliss was going up against Sheldon Richardson, and the both of them had each other's helmets, face masks, and then Sheldon Richardson's face mask helmet got ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought when the referee said there were 2 fouls on the play, I thought these 2 fouls, not ejections, but I thought these 2 fouls would have offset each other. I thought one would be Mo Wilkerson. I thought he would get ejected because of throwing punches. And 2, Andrew Corliss for ripping off another person's helmet. Now, is that fair to the Jets? A lot of people don't think so. However, did Richardson grab Corliss' helmet first? Yes. According to video replay, yes. However, if a player rips off another player's helmet, that's kind of a no-no, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to.
I thought it was. But
I thought it was too.
Well, then, like, in these situations, I feel like the refs are all talking about something, and then they just see these two dudes come up to each other, and then they're just fighting. And, like, you can't replay a fight. Like, I don't know if that's, like, a thing.
No, like, video replay, no.
You can't, like, video replay of whatever that was.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, and then I just feel like refs, we are always like, oh, you blew that call, but, like, if you think of, you know, well, we get the replays, like, 1 second later, but for them, it's, like, happening right then and there, and they only have, you know. But also, there's so many football refs on a football field that, like.
Right. And one was right in that scrum.
Yeah.
He was right there. Colin, what's your thoughts about the Jets-Giants at 718-990-3SJU? That's 718-990-3758. Aaron Rodgers ended the day with 346 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Jordy Nelson ended the day with 9 receptions, 209 yards, and a touchdown. Randall Cobb had another 2 touchdowns. So it was a very exciting game, at least for me as a Packer fan.
I think for the Jets, mainly now, it's kind of developing Geno Smith and kind of getting him to, like...
He had a good game yesterday.
He did, but, like, 16 for 32, 176 yards, 5 for 5, a touchdown interception. That's, like, a safe game.
That is a safe game.
And that's a
50% completion percentage. And Decker got hurt.
Yeah, but if you want him to be
problem.
like,
the thing about Geno Smith is he either looks really good where he'll have a drive where he's like, wow, that was an amazing drive. Geno looks great, and then he'll come back and have a terrible drive. It's no
like
middle
he's in
ground
college
with Geno.
still.
He either looks great or terrible.
I mean, obviously he's a young quarterback, and he's still learning the ways of the NFL.
Like, he's really hot and cold.
Yes, he is.
Those first 2 drives, he looked great, and the rest of the game, not so much.
Right.
Except that throw that they took away. That was a great throw.
Oh, yes, that timeout. That's the big hot button issue that we'll get into a little bit later.
That was the biggest throw of Geno Smith's career, and they took it off the board because Morning Web called the timeout.
It is what it is. That's the way she goes. Sadly, but you know the referee did the right thing because there was uproar about how it was clear there was uproar about how only the head coach can call a timeout from the sidelines. But yet the referee can't turn around to see who's calling the timeout. So he called the timeout. It happened. It was their 3rd and final timeout with 5 minutes? No, probably 3 minutes left of the game. But they used the first 2 timeouts in I think the 3rd quarter. And when
that's on them for that.
That is on them. That's just bad coaching mistakes.
Well, yeah,
I was never a big fan of Rex Ryan. I feel that just because he's a real players coach and everybody loves him, the owner loves him, Woody Johnson loves him. Did he make it to 2 AFC Championships games? Sure. With a fantastic defense and a nice running offense. And Mark Sanchez, boys. Mark Sanchez. The Sanchez. So, but ever since then...
I want Mark Sanchez. I feel like if you were the Buccaneers or one of those teams that has no luck, you should make Mark Sanchez your quarterback just for the entertainment value.
Eagles?
That's exactly why he's on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Eagles have a chance.
I never want to see him in a game, even in backup duty.
I don't think Mark Sanchez wants to even be in a game. I think right now Mark Sanchez is a happy backup quarterback who's I'll take my $1 million a year.
I would love to be a backup quarterback. That's the best job in the league.
But the best job in sports is a relief pitcher. You work every 3 or 4 days, come in for
no time out.
How long? 20 minutes. Make millions of dollars.
Before you get on your rant about baseball,
no.
football.
Okay, no, I'm just talking about relief pitchers. I'd rather be a backup quarterback than a relief pitcher.
Explain.
Because
I'd rather be third.
If I was, a guy who's a regular Joe Schmo that just wants to be a part of the sports world, an athlete making millions of dollars, I wouldn't want to be in a high-pressure relief situation in a game.
Yeah, but that'd be
Possibly being called in with the bases loaded and nobody out and
the ninth
being
inning.
told, hey, don't let anybody score. No. I'd rather be the backup quarterback.
Well, what happens if
Yeah,
your
but
starting
say-
quarterback gets hurt and you're thrown into the Super Bowl?
2 minutes to go. You have to drive down the field.
Down by 6.
It's all about that screen pass. and let the running back
That's why
do
you
everything.
need to be the third string quarterback.
No, because the third string quarterback doesn't get as
Guaranteed.
much money as the backup.
And also, you're
quarterback.
not guaranteed to be on the field.
You're still making $1 million.
Matt Flynn. You hear that? See that big contract that he got from Seattle?
Isn't he like third
He
string
was the
now?
backup.
Isn't he third string
No,
now?
he's the backup. The prodigal son returned to Green Bay, and now he's the backup to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, honestly, if you just want to chill in the NFL, what you do is you have the most potential, and then as soon as you get drafted and you sign the contract, you have an ACL. I'm doing air quotes with an injury, air quotes injury, and then what are you just sitting back on your couch to watch the games for like how much? A couple mil a year?
Muscle cramps.
Yeah, just be like, I can't play. I got this thing in my foot.
I hurt my pinky.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with that. My pinky is broken.
I can't throw.
Call in with your dream job in sports with 718-9903-SJU, or tweet at us what you would want to do as an athlete. What do you think the easiest job would be to make $1 million in the sports world would be? Well, more than $1 million now. Inflation. It is 11:20. Let's go over the Monday Night Football game. Let's do a quick preview of that. It is the Indianapolis Colts in Philadelphia, or the
No,
other way
it's in
around?
Indy.
It's in Indy.
Ooh.
I believe it's in Indy.
I think so too. I
should
think.
be.
Yeah, Indy.
Did
hasn't had a home game
Indianapolis
yet.
lose Robert Mathis for the year?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, but I mean, he was
Definitely, yeah.
still suspended. He was suspended the first 4 games though.
Okay.
That's why he wasn't playing week 1. Like he had there was a drug rule thing going on. What else is new?
What was it? He
And
was taking fertility pills, I think.
Yeah, because
Just wanted a kid.
yeah.
Come on now.
But and
He's
so
trying.
he was working out in Carolina or Atlanta, and then he tore his Achilles.
Yep.
Or ruptured his
I think it
Achilles.
was torn.
I don't know. Ruptured always sounds
Same thing,
worse.
I don't know. I'm
It
not
sounds
a doctor.
worse
I'm
than
not a doctor,
ruptured.
whatever.
He said, "Can you
Ruptured
rupture a
sounds crazy.
tendon?" Or I think you have to. I think you can only tear your tendon, and then rupture is like your appendix can rupture. Sorry, yeah, this is not. This is this is not.
All I
This
know
is
that he's done for the year.
There's the reason why we're not doctors.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
This
reason why we're not even studying to become doctors. Well, actually, I don't know about you two. No. Well, I would hope not if you're
The way
if
this
you're
is
saying
going.
that stuff. All right, it is in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
The Eagles are 1-0, beating the Jaguars last week. The Colts lost to the Broncos last week. I don't blame them. Luck had 370 yards passing against the Broncos. Now the Eagles, their pass defense, I'm not a big fan of. In fact, I don't think anybody's a big fan of their pass
No,
defense.
not at all. Not at all.
So, I mean,
Well, I mean,
Andrew Luck could have a good game
There was improvement throughout the game.
against the Jaguars and Chad Henne.
Yes, against the Jaguars. But there's improvement is improvement.
It is what it is.
Improvement is improvement, and you can't argue against it, regardless of who the team is. But I mean, they started to look good. I like their defensive line this year and their linebackers. It's much improved, especially against the run. I mean, and I think they can get it. I think they're going to be able to get after Andrew Luck. They're going to bring pressure, hopefully, and just start getting Andrew Luck happy feet in the pocket, and hopefully just throws enough interceptions to give him a chance, because the offense finally clicked in the second half last week.
Well, that's the kind of thing for the I know they struggled last week, and I know the Colts are gonna be like it's their they're gonna be home opener, and they're gonna be pumped, and they just lost last week, so they're like, we gotta show we don't suck. And then, but I think the Eagles, I think it's people always kind of take too much when a good team struggles against a bad team and they win.
I mean, I think
Because
they were
like
looking
at the end of the day, like when Vin Diesel once said in Fast and the Furious, winning is winning. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. It's winning. So but if you can find a way to like win a game, I think it builds your team.
It can be the ugliest loss. It can be the
But it's winning,
ugliest
dude.
win,
Like
or the perfect win.
It could just be them. Overlooking the team in front of them.
To be
or
honest,
it could be foreshadowing them not to be that good. It goes both ways.
yeah, but I also think that like some people are like, oh, they barely beat.
You saw it in the second half how they turned it up,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think I honestly think they were overlooking them in the first half, thinking, okay, they don't have they have Allen Hurns as the wide receiver. Whoop-de-doo. I think they overlooked it. Chad Henne, they don't even have Bortles in. I think they're a joke team, in my opinion. Sorry, Jaguars fans, but I don't think the Jaguars are going to be relevant anyway. But
yeah, very true.
I think Foles finally figured it out in the second half. He looked good in the second. I think they just need to get the ball to McCoy more. McCoy, Darren Sproles.
Yeah, dude.
That's what opens up their entire offense. Macklin going down the field.
I just want Trent Richardson to be good in the NFL. And I thought he was going to be so good, and then yeah, and I'm not. I was just so I don't know why. I was just you know how there's some people you're just I really want to see how this guy progresses at the next level. You know when you
sometimes it just doesn't happen, man.
Yeah,
sometimes
I know.
It's not good.
Trent Richardson had 6 carries for 20 yards last week. Hey
man, I'm on the bandwagon that Ahmad Bradshaw is going to be the best running back on that team for fantasy purposes.
Because they'll just do the screen game all day.
So I believe tonight's going to be an offensive versus offense type of game.
I don't think it's going to be a
these two offenses are elite.
Why throw the defense on the
Eagles
field?
might get up,
It's true.
Might get up to like a 24-3 lead just so Andrew Luck comes back. It always seems like he loves getting himself in the hole. Yeah. Come back.
All right. So how about some quick predictions, real quick?
Yeah, real quick. I was just about to say that.
I'm gonna go Indianapolis 31. Eagles 24.
I'm gonna go 27 Eagles and then 17 Colts.
Okay.
All right. Well, I was gonna go Eagles 42 and Indy 32.
That's a lot of fantasy.
I mean, that's. I'm leaning towards that way. I say the Colts win 34-30. Home in Indianapolis for the first time. They don't want to go down 0-2, and I think Andrew Luck is just going to throw all over this Eagles defense. I'm really not a believer in their defense at all. We have one more segment left. It's 11:25. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. Then, when we come back, we're gonna release the return of the dum-dums. If you were listening last spring, we had the dum-dum segment, which is always a fan favorite, and we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about whatever. I'm thinking more MLB and the FIBA Championships.
Oh yeah,
if you know, because
those are so important.
I think we should talk about soccer instead.
Nobody cares about soccer. Be right back here on the SportsStop on WSJU Radio, the voice of St. John's University. Welcome back to the SportsStop here on WSJU Radio, voice of St. John's University. You can call in at 718-990-3SJU. That's 718-990-3758. 11:30 on September 15th. Very nice day out. A little bit chillier than it has been in the past, but it's very nice out. Sun shines out. Birds are chirping. Cars are moving here in Queens, New York. Life is
maybe cars are moving.
I mean, why wouldn't they be?
It's New York. There's probably a traffic jam somewhere.
Oh, you're right. But, city that never sleeps, cars are moving somewhere. All right. Like I said earlier in the show, we do not have sound bites. Sadly, I am disappointed in that. So we are going to kind of a cappella the dum-dums. Now, if you're new to the show, new to listening to the show, the dum-dums are things that happened this week that to players or teams or pretty much anybody in the limelight, things that happened to them that really didn't really go their way, that they just kind of messed up a little bit, and we kind of feel for them, but we got to point them out because that's our jobs. That's our jobs.
Just like,
so typically the dum dum sound would be dum 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 dum. So after each one of us gives out a dum-dum, we're going to acapella it. I mean,
that's what we originally did before the
that is what we originally did.
We're going back to the old school days of the SportsStop.
Yes,
back when there was this thing called technology.
The prehistoric period. And so, Sean, do you have a dum-dum for us?
Yeah, man, I'm going to take it over to college football. UCLA Texas game this weekend. UCLA won the coin toss. Coin toss.
I can edit this out.
They won the toss and elected to defer, and then Texas chose to kick off. The captain's name is Tank Jackson.
Well, that's a
great name.
pretty good name.
He doesn't make good decisions.
Okay.
Coach Charlie Strong was seen on the sidelines, livid at the decision. UCLA ended up coming down and scoring on that first drive of the second half. So, and they ended up losing by 1 score. So
that ain't good. All right, dum. All right, next time I'll count down because. Now, does somebody want to get the high part and the low part and the middle part, or dum? No. I can do that. I'll do that one.
All right, I'll go low.
Okay.
All right, mine goes to. I'm sure everyone knows. I don't even need to say what he did, but I'll say it anyway. Rashad Jennings, a running back for the Giants, was running, and then fell and fumbled, and then Arizona got it, and no one even tackled him on the play. He
just laying on the ground.
He just literally fumbled without being touched.
Lost the ball.
Yep, just wow.
3, 2, 1. Dum. I think that sounded really good. All right, go ahead, Evan. What's your dum?
All right, well, I thought of another one, so I got two real quick. First is going to go out to the Jets, Sheldon Richardson.
Okay.
And Marty Morningwig for their timeout that cost them a tie game on Gino's probably best pass, as you said.
All right, what happened in that game, Evan? Because we kind of avoided it for your dum.
Well, it was 3 minutes to go or so in the fourth quarter.
It was a 4th and 4.
4th and 4. Gino went back. Gino hiked. The play went off. Perfect pass to Curley, I believe
Curly.
it was, in the end zone.
I believe it was Curly. Yeah, Curly, yep.
Touchdown. But Marty Morningwig and
Sheldon
Richardson decided to whisper to the ref and call a timeout, pretending to be Rex Ryan, I guess.
They weren't trying to pretend to be Rex Ryan. I guess, I want to say that they were in the game, and Marty Morningwig didn't like what he saw, so he was screaming for timeout. And Richardson
Richardson
whispered
to the ref, and the ref, he did his job. He's not supposed to turn around to find out who said it because he's got to keep his eyes on the play. But granted the timeout, and there goes that.
Dum.
And a second one real quick goes out to NFL replay system. Failing to spot Percy Harvin clearly stepping out of bounds on his 51-yard touchdown run.
I did see that.
How do you not review that at
Ref
all?
had him on his fantasy team.
I think he did.
Dum. Referee is Percy Harvin. And that was a scoring play. It should be reviewed.
Yeah, automatically.
Yeah. All right, my dum will go to former Packer great James Jones. Now, James Jones had a fantastic game. What was it, 7 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown?
I think it was 9 for 119.
9 for 119?
And a touchdown.
Either way, fantastic game. But what he did was a dum. Now, James Jones made a catch along the sidelines against the Houston Texans. The guy who went over to tackle him forced the ball out, and then the tackler, fell out of bounds. James Jones picks up the ball, and he starts going for the end zone. It's a legal play. Somebody else comes over, catches up to James Jones, tackles him, but doesn't really get close to the ball, and James Jones just dropped the ball. It's a rare sighting of a double fumble for James Jones. They lose the ball on the second fumble, which was, within the 10-yard line to the goal line. So, James Jones, you're my dum of the day. Dum. And that's the dum-dums.
It does sound better when one of us goes higher, and then the range of... Good call on that, James.
It's all, we're going to... After this, we're going to go on our barbershop quartet practice. So that's going to be at Common Hour in the Marillac Cafeteria. Don't go away. Speaking of Marillac Cafeteria, I hope you're enjoying listening to us downstairs in the Marillac Cafeteria, or on the TuneIn app by searching WSJU Radio, or on our website at... What's our website again? WSJuradio.weebly.com?
I think so, yeah.
That's it. Yep.
Good thing we know that, right?
Good thing we know that.
Yeah, way to know that, guys.
You're welcome, WSJU.
All right, real quick before we go on to another sport besides football.
Okay.
I got to go back to football real quick.
Okay.
J.J. Watt.
Scoring the touchdown?
Zero tackles, 0 sacks, but he scored an offensive touchdown.
Very nice. Offensive
love
touchdown.
You gotta earn that $100 million, man.
He gets the $100 million, and he's like, I want to play offense now. They should just line him up at tight end all game long, because that would be Fitzpatrick's
was it on the
greatest
Patriots
part.
that used to score all those touchdowns, like in the early.
Mike
Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vrabel?
Vrabel, yep.
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. It's always fun to see, especially a guy like J.J. Watt, who's so big, and he just should stay on defense, but he doesn't, and he just scores touchdowns. Like the Jets do it with Sheldon Richardson. They gave him the ball back in 1985 in the mid-'80s Bears, Refrigerator Perry. Give him the ball and just pound it up at the goal line. So fun to
They
watch.
should just try and bring him down.
Nobody thought he was gonna go catch.
Yeah, no.
He ran out there, and the guy jumped the guy.
I mean, they
on the
probably
route,
probably
in
thought
front
it
of
was going to be a running play or something like that. Because why would J.J. Watt be out there other than blocking? Well, it turns out we see why. All right, so let's go to the MLB. Of course, the big news coming out this week is the Orioles. Not that they're so close to clinching the AL
Like
East.
3 games now. Though.
Their magic number is 3 games. But it's Chris Davis, their star slugger, who hasn't really had that great of a season this year. But he has been suspended for 25 games for testing positive for Adderall. Now, with drug tests such as for like Adderall and like amphetamines and things like that, the first positive test, the player gets notified that they tested positive, and then they get notified that they're going to be tested more and more. So
What? You just
you
don't,
better stop. The second test gets you the 25-game suspension if you test positive, and the third gets you an 80-game suspension. Now, Adderall is used all over the country. It helps people focus. It's an amphetamine.
Yeah. I was like, when I first read it, I was like, Chris Davis, at like.
And I'm sure a lot
it's
of people,
like
because they saw 25
drug ban, and I was like, oh, did he get caught with steroids?
steroids, HGH. The guy's a big old power hitter.
Yeah, and he also, what kind of made me think is that, remember that one year in the beginning of the season, he had like 40-something ridiculous, like 40-something homers.
Yeah, that was
before the
last
All-Star.
year. Last year he had.
And
He
then
ended up
just
with
ever
53.
since then, he just kind of fell off. And I kind of thought like, oh, someone had a good off season with those, steroids and stuff, and just like I thought that was kind of his thing. But I was really surprised to see Adderall on there.
Yeah, and it's not something that you would expect from him, like you said, and like he's a big power hitter. You're expecting like some steroids.
If he was to be tested positive for any sort of not unknown, but any sort of substance, 9 out of 10 people would have guessed HGH, steroids, performance PEDs, whatever.
Yeah, but
it's
just
not-
Adderall, like
and it's not even like it's helping him this year.
Exactly. His average is 196, I think.
196,
Yeah.
only 20 home runs, maybe something
I mean,
like
Yeah,
that.
I
something
look
like
at
that.
it with him in particular, throughout his career and his minor league stuff. He's always been a low average, a lot of home run guy. So I'm not going to accuse him of you would think he would.
Well, there's some
test
people.
positive for
There's some
steroids.
people like that, like Ryan Howard's like that.
No, but
Chris
like
Fielder's
you'll
like that
see
too.
when when you see a light hitting second middle infielder, and then he pops up one year and hits 35 home runs, then you can suspect steroids.
Yeah.
I could just say that if you look at his career, he's never really been a great average hitter except last season.
Yeah.
So, and then with the Adderall stuff with baseball, it's such a long season, 162 games, 5 months, 6 if you make the playoffs. The Ryan Braun stuff, I don't think that, he tested positive for steroids and stuff, but HGH I think was.
Right.
But it wasn't. I think it was necessarily just keeping him healthy and stuff, because you get a lot of Nixon crannies, you get hurt, you miss a couple games. I think that's more what they use the Adderall and stuff like that to just help them get through the season. Stuff like that.
Well, Adderall, it's usually given to people who suffer from ADHD or narcolepsy.
Yeah.
So it helps people calm down, focus, things of that nature.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like a weird. I think it's just kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that
there's
it tested for Adderall and stuff like that. I don't think he's gonna like lose.
Finals coming up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you mentioned finals. Adderall is running rampant throughout college campuses. kids use it for to help them study all night.
These youth,
and then they crash after they take their final or whatever.
Yeah, like
it's.
I see what you did there, Crash Davis. That's his nickname.
Oh, look what I did.
But I think
no
the
pun
Orioles.
intended.
But I think as a team, the Orioles are gonna do well in the playoffs, and I think they're gonna win that division.
I mean, they're only 3. Their magic number's 3. They will win the division unless
It's done.
everybody just goes down.
Yeah,
It's over.
But how do you think this is gonna? I mean, it already went over, but this is sort of disappointing for the Orioles. This is their big guy in the cleanup spot. People fear him. He's protection behind Adam Jones, and he won't be there for the rest of the season and the playoff run.
yeah.
I mean,
not until at least
Yeah, they said I think he missed the first 7 or 8 games.
Yeah, but then you only get 3.
that could be 2 series.
That could be
2 series.
That could be
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, so, but I would do it if he was their main guy, but they still have an Adam Jones.
Adam Jones.
Yeah, right. His name's Adam Jones.
Adam Jones, yeah.
Adam Jones, and also Nelson Cruz, who also just got off his drug suspension, and he's just.
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, with Adam, I believe it was Adam Jones, Chris Davis, Nelson Cruz, right, left, right at 3-4-5. If I'm mistaken, please let me know. But the thing is that Chris Davis, he was able to use the drug last year for a, quote, therapeutic exemption, which the league allows sometimes. He just didn't get permission to do it this year. And you think after the first time
You remember
he tested positive for it, he'd be like, all right, can I get a therapeutic exemption? I don't know. I mean, is he addicted? He used it all last year, and then he was told to stop, and he can't do it, so he gets another 25 games.
Well, amphetamines
it's
are
a little scary about that.
That's true.
So, I mean,
I just don't think it's gonna hurt. Obviously, to lose a slugger,
right?
His caliber.
I mean, he wasn't doing well. It's obvious.
I just think that Buck Showalter,
the threat of him.
I think he's
Yeah.
easily manager of the year because that team, especially the guys that are putting out there right now, it's not really that good of a team, and they're easily winning the division.
Yeah, and they're just, especially with all
Buck Showalter's manager of the year.
Things just seem to click. It's
not like the Dodgers.
The Orioles
were
are very much like
because of all the money they put in.
Right, but the Orioles are very much like, I want to say, the Tampa Bay Rays. You don't necessarily know everybody on the field, but it just clicks. Just the chemistry. And sometimes that's more important than getting 2 guys with $25 million in your lineup.
Like Beltran?
Like Beltran and McCann or whatever. Or, I mean, I know they're doing well, but like Pujols and Trout, you got guys like that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Speaking of Pujols and Trout, the Angels are on a 10-game winning streak.
No, they got snapped.
Did it get snapped?
They got snapped.
Oh, yesterday against Dallas Keuchel, right?
Yeah.
Who almost threw a no-hitter
Yeah.
for Houston Astros.
The Astros snapped it. Out of all teams, it was the Astros.
The Astros are sneaky. They're very good.
They're a pest, man.
They are a pest.
Fantasy and stuff. I hate when my pitchers go up against them because they always.
Altuve.
Yeah, the whole team.
Altuve. Oh, he's ridiculous.
Should we do playoff predictions because of?
You know what? Let's stop with the playoff predictions until everybody gets in. Then we'll have a show about the postseason before it starts. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm fine.
I got what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Trailer Park Boys.
You two in Trailer Park.
I'm so glad somebody else watches it.
Oh, I love that show, dude. It's so funny.
Don't start watching it, Sean. Don't do it.
Sean, it's so funny. It's Canadian.
All right, we're just gonna.
Trailer Park
I know
Boys.
this has nothing to do with the sports shop, but for those of you who haven't watched Trailer Park Boys, it's about a trailer park in Nova Scotia, Canada. It's
parental guidance is advised.
Oh yeah, if you. Well,
I would not.
This is a
have
college station.
Yeah, I know, but
it goes out to everyone.
Oh, that's
yeah.
true.
We're over the interwebs, Kirk.
The internet.
So yes.
Please tune in to Trailer Park Boys if you want a good laugh.
You're welcome, Trailer Park Boys on Netflix.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Clayton Kershaw. Major League leading 19th win yesterday. 8 innings, 2 runs, 9 Ks.
He's a cheat code.
He's someone who was just made to throw a baseball.
Who do you guys think's better at their craft?
Kershaw.
LeBron? Because LeBron, he should have. You could have given it to Durant this year, but LeBron was right. He was number 2. LeBron was working on his 4th straight MVP. Kershaw, he's going to win the Cy Young again this year.
He's winning.
Probably should have won it the year.
He might win NL MVP too.
After Stanton went down, after getting hit by the pitch in the face,
that was scary.
I think Kershaw might, if he ends up with like 22 wins.
Dickey won, and Kershaw was better than Dickey that year.
Kershaw was just absolutely filthy.
You watch yourself.
Listen.
R.A. Dickey, knuckleball.
Dickey had a great season that year.
It's true.
Kershaw was better.
I just think, Dickey was sort of historic because
It was a nice story. It was
a very nice story. And he's just a knuckleball pitcher.
Hey man, I remember that year.
I did too.
I had R.A. Dickey on my team. It was a great ride.
I just love the idea of the knuckleball. That's either going to be a 70-mile-an-hour pitch right down the middle, or it's just going somewhere. Yeah,
You have no idea. You kind of throw it in the general idea.
Especially
of
in
what the plate
baseball, you
is.
can count on the baseball writers or whoever decides award. You can count them to get it wrong every year.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
true.
not necessarily true.
Unless it's like overwhelming.
Trout's gonna get it this year. He deserves it. But this is his worst season. He deserved it those past 2 seasons.
It's hard to go against a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
That's all.
I would have.
Trout had a better year.
I might have given it to him last year, maybe.
He deserved it both seasons.
Not that first
Not
one.
the first-
Not the
A
first
triple
one.
crown.
Yeah,
Triple
man.
Crown, man. It hasn't happened.
RBIs, home runs.
No,
Yep.
dude, that wasn't done since 19.
Hey,
like,
man,
19. Carl Yastrzemski, 1969.
yeah.
That's
Like,
all baseball fodder. It's just like stuff we care about. There are more measures to the game that measure if you're a good player or not. Miggy is not that good on defense. Trout was. He's playing first of all, he's playing the second hardest position in baseball, center fielder or shortstop, whatever you want. And he's Gold Glove.
yeah. Well, no. I think Mike Trout's gonna be he should be the MVP this year. But the year
This is his worst season. This is his worst season. So far.
Yeah, but like also now people are like, oh, we're playing Mike Trout. We need to figure out how the heck we're gonna do this week. Like when his first year, they're like, oh, they have this new guy. He's kind of good. Let's go out there and play him, And like, oh, never mind. He's actually really, really good. We need to change this up.
Gotta find out how to pitch to him, how to avoid him, and all.
Yeah,
that
because
stuff,
like baseball, that's all like that's all the old managers do. Like, all right, when Mike Trout comes up, everyone's gonna go to the left, and then the outfield's gonna
Extreme
go
shifts,
right.
go.
Yeah, and just like all that stuff.
So speaking of NL MVP and things like that, the last person to win the Cy Young and the MVP of their league was Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
I believe the last person before that was either Eckersley or Roger Clemens. I don't know who came first. I want to say it's Eckersley though. So it's not really
It's not common.
a common occurrence, and I do think Clayton Kershaw has a great chance. If Stanton was still in,
it would be a lot closer.
it would be a lot closer. And I really don't like the idea. It makes sense. I get it. But I don't like, the MVP should go to a guy
Who only
who's
pitches 5
on-
days. Once every 5 days.
That's not what I was going to say, but, is on a winning team. You know what I mean? Like,
Boy, when
John
you have
Carlos,
the stats,
if the Marlins didn't make the playoffs, would that hurt John Carlos'
It shouldn't.
MVP?
It shouldn't.
Exactly, that's what I'm
should.
saying.
Like, I don't think it should.
If you guys remember, I want to say the
Felix.
2011
Felix
season
Hernandez?
MVP, Ryan Braun, Kemp year.
Yeah.
Braun won the MVP that season.
Right.
Only because his team made the playoffs.
Right.
That's another thing. Kemp had a better year.
I think Kemp had a better year, yes.
Kemp went 40-39.
Right.
Like a 330 average.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing. That's another thing to say to the Mike Trout thing. Another reason why I think they gave it to Mickey is because it was just the perfect storyline with the triple count, quote unquote, and
his team made the World Series those 2 years, or
World
the
Series, yeah.
Aerial Championship.
I think
last year.
I think that is true in every sport except in basketball.
No, basketball.
I feel like basketball, you have one individual can make the biggest difference in a basketball game. Like one
Yes.
guy can just kind of take over. But then, like with football and baseball, baseball, it's like
basketball,
It's only two. It's only going to be one of two people.
No. Yeah, in basketball, a great player has more of an effect on a game.
Yeah,
than
because you get
any
off.
sport.
Because you're playing
So
offense and
if
defense.
you're so great, it's easier to like quantify and see your greatness in
Yeah.
basketball. And
Speaking of
baseball and
basketball.
stuff like that, because like people look at baseball as like a team sport. It's not really a team sport.
It's
It's like an
individuals.
individual sport.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Nah, it's a if you really think about
I mean,
it, it's a bunch of
can you pitch the
individual
ball and then
activities
run to center
grouped
field and catch
together
it?
as a team sport.
Well, like, I think defense is a team sport, but then batting, that's not a team's like. Unless
I mean,
It's a
Kershaw.
bunch of, like-
you can.
Kershaw almost does it by himself, though.
I mean, yes, he almost does. The guy can hit
Almost
too.
does.
The guy can hit too.
I mean, he just needs a catcher to catch the ball for him, and then I mean, pretty much himself. He's just in another world when he's out there.
It's true, and
The one,
that no hitter he threw earlier this year, possibly the greatest no hitter I've ever seen. Should have been a perfect game.
perfect game, yeah.
It was one of the most dominating performances I've ever seen.
He's literally
Ever.
a cheat code.
Yeah, it is.
Like what's his stats? 19
He
wins.
let us
Scott.
2 runs. He had 2
That-
earned runs yesterday, and his ERA went up.
Yeah.
What,
That's
to
ridiculous.
One
It went up
seven.
to 1.7.
1.7.
He's just
Your ERA is
It
1.7,
was 1.67
And-
before that. It went up.
and you're in mid-September,
yeah.
and you pitched all year, minus 2 weeks.
That's
Yeah.
true, and like
Filthy.
not even to have that, you know.
And he's leading
Steven
the league.
Strasburg. Just my arm can't handle with how fast I'm throwing.
Like, is he leading the league in strikeouts? Kershaw
Kershaw?
I think Price off the top.
still.
I
Yeah.
mean, Kershaw
I think
may
so.
have the National League, though.
Okay.
He missed 2 weeks. He's still leading the league, or
Possibly.
NL. Possibly leading. the NL in
He's got
strikeout.
219 strikeouts, 19 wins, 3 losses. A WAR of 7.7, which is
Yeah,
actually
Price-
less than
Price-
what he had last year.
Price leads with 250 Scherzer.
A whip
second.
of .83. That means he lets people on
0.83.
base.
That's
Less
Not
than one
much.
person on base per
If you have
inning.
1.1 ERA, that's
And a
pretty
1.7 ERA.
Tell me those aren't MVP.
Those are
numbers.
MVP numbers. Definitely MVP numbers. You haven't seen this since 1968 with Bob Gibson.
You see,
Haven't seen anything like it.
One thing about Kershaw is, and he's great, and like I said, he should be working on his 4th Cy Young in a row. The only thing about Kershaw is he has to prove it in the postseason now, because he's had some times in the postseason where he's came up short a couple times. Last season against the Cardinals,
Right.
in the NLCS, and his first season in the league, I think it was against the Phillies. So if he really wants to, because the stuff we're seeing right now, we're probably never going to see this again. This is Sandy Koufax level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he really wants to be on that level of, we see him as the greatest pitcher of all time,
he's
he
got
has
to
to double up and do it in the postseason.
Well, like that's always just in general, like you can be the best regular season player of all time, just be like the best player ever. But like once it comes to the postseason, you got to put up.
He
Like,
could be Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is probably the greatest quarterback ever.
yeah.
But in big moments, he's not as good.
Right.
His level goes down. So he's still great. But it's just what narrative are you going to write, Kershaw? You're going to be the greatest of all time, or he's going to be another level who just get a little worse when it matters the most.
Yeah, like why is Mariano Rivera
Mariano Rivera is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's the greatest.
And
Why?
then
Because he
gets
won
10 times better
Yeah.
when it matters.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why he's so legendary.
Yeah. I mean, he was great in the regular season, and he's even better in the postseason, which makes him a very special player.
Except that 1 year against the Diamondbacks in the World Series.
I mean, that was a broken bat single, too. There's not really much you could do about
Why are you
that.
trying to make me relive that?
All right, real quick. I feel like we should mention this because we are Americans. 2014 FIBA World Cup. FIBA, of course, is the basketball international basketball
thing.
association.
It's the World Cup for basketball.
Yes.
But unlike the soccer, there's no competition because America has all NBA athletes, and then everyone else maybe has 2.
Yes. USA won yesterday, winning the gold medal, 129-92.
Like it's like it was,
Like,
you didn't even have to watch it to
only
know
a
that.
yeah.
I didn't watch any of it
I watched 2 minutes of the entire
I
tournament.
think I watched 2 games.
I watched 2 minutes.
because I mean,
I watched Plumlee jump over somebody and dunk it, and then that's all I saw.
And Mason Plumlee's the worst player.
And he's still better.
He's still better than I would say 90% of the players on the other teams.
It was basically a glorified scrimmage. They played 8 glorified scrimmages.
And they made it interesting in the first half. They were like, "Ha, just kidding."
It's for the fans.
Or like when Coach K was like, "Oh, Kevin Durant doesn't want to play. Oh, I thought he was going to play." I was like, "Oh, you only had." I was like, "Yeah,
yeah."
yeah."
All right, let me go to Steph Curry now. Let me go to Derrick Rose.
Another thing, this was like the C team. This was not even the B team.
They should use college athletes for it.
Yeah,
they should just it would be more interesting for us to
more of
the Olympics.
It would be more competitive.
But Olympics is different. But
we still beat them.
Yeah, FIBA.
That's true. We would. But there's we're America.
Woo!
Winning gold in basketball. Honestly, I didn't watch it not because I don't like basketball or not because I don't like, seeing America. But it's because if I want to watch a sporting event, I want to watch competitive sporting events.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a nice game of cricket that is very close between the two opposing
players.
players.
Interesting to watch, but they couldn't beat France. If it was a Spain-USA final, they might have had some troubles with Spain.
Maybe.
No, they wouldn't. Let's be honest. They would have had more trouble.
They would have had trouble.
They would have had more trouble against Spain.
They would have had trouble.
But
yeah, but this is trouble. First quarter, they're down 20 to 10, and then the third quarter they're up by 15, and everyone's like, "Oh, they were down early," and I was like, "Yeah, dude. If they don't win, that's the only reason that it would make big news."
But the big storyline to come out of the FIBA World Championships, because I had a question about Kyrie Irving because he's never played a real.
Or Derrick Rose too.
Derrick Rose is fine. He'll be fine. I was just concerned about Kyrie because I've never seen Kyrie play a competitive game or important game in his NBA career. So I was just wondering, now that he has LeBron and K Love on the team, is he going to be the real deal when it really matters? And he showed it by winning the MVP in the tournament.
That's also a big question about Kevin Love because Kevin Love has never been in a big game.
6 years in the league, never made a playoff.
Yeah. He's on the Timberwolves, so.
Yeah, he was on the Timberwolves. It is what it is. All right, it's 11:59, September 15th. We are just about to wrap up here. Fantastic show. We got a lot of NFL talk, a little bit of baseball talk, a tiny bit of FIBA talk. You're welcome, America.
Which is deserved.
Which is deserved. USA wins gold. What's not to brag about?
We're the best.
We're the best. We're dominant.
We'll be back.
It wasn't even tournament.
We'll be back next week, which would be September 22nd, right here at WSJU Radio from 10:30 to 12. We're gonna have this show recorded and up on YouTube, probably sometime this week at SportsStop WSJU, the YouTube channel. Follow us at SportsStop WSJU. That's about it, right? That's all of our social media, right? Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, folks.
Yep.
James, say the go-to line.
For Sean Loggia, Kurt Sem, and Evan McGuire, I'm James Mitchell saying life is good today. Let's keep it that way.